and certified by the clerk. Please call the roll.
Mr. Hoppercamp.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Schindler.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Here.
Mayor Francis.
Here. So, join me when the flag, before we do the flag salute, I'd like to take a moment of silence in honor of the soldiers, the 13 soldiers we recently lost in Afghanistan. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
To the republic.
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. There are no proclamations. I'll start with committee reports. Don, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to remind everyone that next Thursday, September 9th, we have this Center for Prevention coming to the community center from 3 to 7 p.m. and they will be doing Narcan training on that day. Also here at the center, we have had an increase in attendance for recovery coach services regarding alcohol and drug abuse. We've had more people moving toward asking for help, asking for a coach and a counselor. We also have people looking for counseling in the aftermath of a loved one that has lost the battle with addiction and have very sadly, unfortunately, overdosed. And so now we have moved toward having a grief counselor on site here at the community center. So that's very necessary. Some people win the battle and some people don't. And so those family members deserve all the support they can get. So I'm glad that we can offer that here on site with a grief counselor. So everything else, we're moving, grooving. We still have baby items for anyone that just needs help filling the gap. We have diapers, formula, baby food, and other miscellaneous items for children to help out. And I think that's it for now. Thank you, Mayor.
Mike, you're muted.
Sorry. Brad, you're up. Thanks, Don.
Sure, Mayor. I just have a few items. First, I'd like to congratulate Linda Smith, who is one of our Hopatcong Seniors of the Year. And on August the 12th, she was selected as the Sussex County Senior of the Year for all of her hard work for the senior population of Copacon, and particularly for her efforts with Senior Inc. I'd just like to say congratulations, Linda. We're all proud of you for that honor. Next, I'd just also like to thank all who came out for our August the 12th ribbon cutting ceremony at the Jefferson Field Dog Park. We had a great crowd, both human and canine. And my thanks to Aiden Poland, who cut the ribbon and helped so much on this endeavor. And I'd also like just to mention that for those who would like to follow the activities up there at the dog park, there is a Facebook page that's been created. It's called Friends of Jefferson Field Dog Park. And that's all I have there. Thank you.
Rich, you're up.
Thank you. I actually have nothing for tonight, so I'm going to pass.
All right, John, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, from Recreation, we have the 9/11 ceremony coming up Saturday, September 11th at 10 a.m. The next event from Recreation is Hopatcong Days, which is September 18th. That's from 12 till whenever, and the rain day for that is the following day, Sunday, September 19th. We just recently had a concert in the park, Saturday, August 28th. That went fairly well. The band was Rough House. All the reports are they were absolutely excellent. Everybody really enjoyed them. The last meeting, we had some conversation about Halloween, which is upcoming October 10th. and the rain date is the 17th. Also, we just want to note there will not be a parade for this Halloween. And we had talk about Christmas, which I'll have more on that later. And lastly, from recreation, the basketball program is kind of in the air. We are moving forward, but we're not taking any funds for registration. It's in the air because several of the other teams in the league we participate in are still not sure whether or not they'll be able to use their indoor facilities. So that may wind up not happening. From Municipal Alliance, our last movie went very well. We had to cancel the 2 follow-up meetings for a couple of different reasons, and we've been recently talking about the new school year starting and what things we can do to get back on track as far as drug awareness and prevention. From the Environmental Commission, we had at our last meeting, we had conversation about Mountain Inlet and the Eagle Scout project that's going to be happening there, trying rehabilitating the bird observatory. We had conversations about the rain garden. I'm sure they're full of water right now. As always, we have conversation about invasive species, and the latest one is mugwort. It's some small plant. It's spreading very rapidly. It's all over the place. We also talked about Witten Park. Nobody seems to know why, but all of a sudden, a lot of the ground vegetation turned brown. We'll have a booth at Hopatcong Days, and I think the topic at the booth is going to be invasive species. We also have some conversation from the beautification committee and what they're planning on next. And there's not sure if I'm still on.
What just
We
happened?
can hear you, John. Keep going.
Okay. There's a lot of crews on September 8th. Shred Day is September 18th from 9 to 12. That's the same day as Hopatcong Days, but Hopatcong Days doesn't start till noon. And then the townwide cleanup is September 25th. That's always in the morning. And the Lake Hopatcong Foundation Block Fair is October 2nd, I believe. I wanted to comment from the Police Range Committee. I don't always say anything about the police range because there's not always a lot going on there, but last spring, after the fencing on the gate was put up, we installed some sound mitigation material that was hung on the gate and the fencing around it. And as they used it sporadically during the few months that followed, it made a very significant difference in sound levels in the general area. So that was a big success, and we still have a few things we need to tweak on it. And also in the last few months, as our police department used it sporadically, they brought in an old car or vehicle, I should say. They did not shoot at the car. I've been asked that question. They don't do that, but they brought in an old car, which they utilized to simulate various training scenarios. And that's the activity that was originally the driving force behind having our own facility on Hopatcong soil, that our police department can do some extra training as they see fit, and they're not encumbered by an owner of the range telling them they can't do this and they can't do that. So I was very happy to see them do that. That was one of the things that they wanted to do all along, and now that we have our own facility, they can. And finally, Miss Hopatcong, Emily Biller, she went to Queen of the Fair. She participated in that pageant. She did not make the 6 finals, but I can tell you she represented Hopatcong very well. We can all be very proud of her. She did a wonderful job. So congratulations to Emily, and best of luck in the future. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Ryan, you're up.
Okay, Sussex County Municipal Utilities Authority. The next Sharps Disposal event is tomorrow, the 2nd of September. The next paper shredding event is September 17th. That's all up at the county. Now, locally at our community shredding event, will be held at the Senior Center on the 18th of September. This weekend, there's a school supply drive going on both days at the Hopatcong Marketplace. That's Saturday from 10 to 3 and Sunday from noon to 4. The next Chamber of Commerce meeting is Friday, September 10th. Our next Chamber of Commerce B2B breakfast is September 14th. We're all looking forward to, of course, Hopatcong Days on Saturday, the 18th. And the very next day, the Sussex County Day is on the 19th, and that's going to be held up at the fairgrounds. Of course, I want to invite everybody to come to the first football game of the season. That's this Friday night. Hopatcong's going to be playing High Point, and should be a good game. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Jennifer, you're up.
Hi. I don't have anything new. School started today. Let's pray for a smooth year for all of our kids and all of our teachers and all of our administrators. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Ron, do the administrative report.
Yes, sir. Real brief, Mike. I just want to let everybody know that the DPW crew's been working very hard to repair all the catch basins to get ready for the paving project that's coming up. We're going to be putting notices up in the next week or two, door to door, to everybody that's affected by that. The delay has been two reasons. One is the contractor just finished up, but the biggest delay is us getting materials. There's been a enormous supply shortage of block that we use to build up the catch basins. We have not been able to get them. We actually we've had to go all over the place to try to get those, and my guys finally got a load in on a wing and a prayer, and they've been working diligently to get those catch basins up and going so that we can start the paving project. So the paving will start another week or two. You should see activity around that. Also, there's a lot of there's an ordinance and a resolution on tonight about the filtration. We are ordering tonight, if as long as it's approved by council, we're moving money out of our COVID money into a capital account so that we can use it. It's a formal action we have to take under state requirements to move it into an account that we can use. That being said, there's a there's a resolution at the very end of the meeting that allows us to expend those funds towards buying the first 3 of the carbon filtration units that we'll be putting on the 3 biggest wells that we have in Borough to go attack this PFAS issue that we currently have with DEP. So that being said, Mayor, that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 An opportunity is given to the public for commentary. Comments are limited to 1 comment of no more than 5 minutes. Our clerk will take care of the clock on that. All right, Ron, let her rip.
Okay. Anyone that'd like to speak, go to your reactions button and hit the reactions, raise your hand, and I'll put you into the meeting. Got one. Here we go.
I don't really know how to do that here, but this is Beth Schustin. I did want to say something.
Okay, Mary, you on?
Yes, I am on.
Okay.
So, yes, I live in the community. My family has been here since the 1930s. We're an old family, the Schustin family. My father owned the Bon Air Lodge. My grandfather was a Commodore. So our family has been here for many, many years. And I'm recently seeing the lake is changing its tenor. The jet skis, I live in the cove of River Styx Cove, and it's becoming, there's no speed limit in this cove, which I wish there was, because with the jet skis and the boats, it's becoming just like so disruptive. And I gotta say that we live next to the Arrow Crest, which is the only, from what I understand, because I've called the police many, many times on these jet skis, it's the only place that allows for launching of the jet skis. And it's day and night. There's no limit on the hours they can launch their boats. So they're coming in at all hours of the night, playing the loud music. I mean, the lake has changed considerably in terms of how we have to live. And in this cove, it's becoming like Byron Cove, where they're hooking up together. They're picnicking, they're parking on the lake, and it's, not meant for the residents here. I feel like with the taxes we pay and what we have to put up with, that I think there should be some restrictions to the boat activity on this lake, and especially in this cove where they come in like crazies and they play their music loud, and it's just extremely disruptive. So, I mean, I have some other issues, but I know we need to sort of limit it to this one, but what I'm asking for is a speed limit in this cove. And for the owner of the Arrowcrest, he's bringing in a profit. He's charging $20 just to park their cars, and then he's allowing them to launch day and night. And none of the other marinas allow it. Now, why he's allowed to do this and disrupt the whole community in this cove is really, I think, wrong. And I think there has to be some restrictions to maybe it's sunrise to sunset, but it's all night long. And, I just would like something to be done here, and especially to have a speed limit in this cove.
Can you do me a favor, please? I'm sorry. Can you state your name and address for us, please, so the clerk has that on the record for us, please?
Yes, it's Beth Shustin, Shustin, and it's 90 Ethanol Road in Hopatcong. So we're right.
Thank you, Beth.
Yeah. I appreciate, you allowing me to speak. And I really feel like something needs to be done. I've called the cops several times, and they have been really nice and very helpful, and come to the house and try to corral some of these transgressors who play their music ridiculously loud, who go circling back and forth, around in circles. It's so disruptive, and they know it. They actually know some of the perpetrators who are continually doing this. And, they've been coming to the cove more often to check on it, but, they're not here at night. And they're not here at sundown, and they're not here when it really, really is disruptive. And again,
Your time is almost up, Ms. Shustin.
Okay, well, thank you. I do appreciate it. I just want to let you know, my family has been here since the 1930s. We're probably one of the oldest families living on the lake. We grew up in the Lotta Crabtree home. We had the Bonner Lodge, the Lakeview. I mean, we're tried and true here. And I just really feel like we need some sort of restrictions on the activity here. It's never been this bad. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up, Ron.
Let's see here. Mayor Modes, you're up.
Hi. I would like to know how many bids we had for the Hudson Sewer Extension Project. And I have a question about one of the checks. It was 21-01198, and it was for the Senior Inc. anniversary party for $3,000. So I was wondering if I could get some more information on those. Thank you.
Next up, Ron.
It comes across as Patty. You're up.
He's muted.
Patty, you're
There we
muted.
go.
Unmute yourself.
Patty, you're muted. Patty Arendas, I think it is. You're up.
Okay, let's
I
move
don't hear
on.
anything from Patty. Let's go to Steve. He's up. Steve, you're up. You're muted. There we go.
How you doing, guys? Thank you guys for having me tonight. Just wanted to give Councilman Hofferkamp a thumbs up for the dog park that he put together. A lot of good feedback from the town. People are loving it, and then most importantly, the dogs look like they're loving it. So I know they created a page for it. Everybody should check it out. And wanted to give another shout out to Councilwoman Roberts for her work at the Wellness Center. that's another full-time job itself. And thank you to all the other council members for keeping my taxes low. Been here for almost 10 years and barely any taxes getting raised. Not too much, but that's all I have. Thank you, guys.
Steve, if you could please give your name and state your name and your address for me, please.
Steven Silvaggio, 7 Phillip Road.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Dave, you're on.
Okay, David Harris. Is there going to be recycling pickup tomorrow with the storm? Can you hear me?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay, and is there another internet service that we could get into Hopatcong? Because now Optimum is charging $105 just for internet service.
Mm.
And the last one is, were we able to approach Hudson Farms to contribute as they have in the past to our volunteers? That's it.
Thank you.
Patty, you're up. I see your hand still up, but I don't see you responding. Can you unmute? Well, Mayor, I've asked, that's the only one I see up. I don't know. Oh, hold on, got one more. Maureen, you're up. Hello? Maureen and Al? It's going to be one of those nights, Mayor.
I know. I see her mute is off.
Yeah, I've unmuted all of them, but I don't hear anything. I don't know if it's just bad internet connection all around tonight. I don't know. Nothing like having a meeting on internet connections on the resilience of an old hurricane and and the storm we're having.
Do we have more?
I don't see it, Michael. I don't see anything.
If the people are trying to get on, they can always email me and I will answer their questions. Any more?
What is the email address? Can you provide that?
mfrancis@hopatcong.org.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's all I see.
I'll entertain a motion to bring it back.
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're back.
Aye.
Okay. Well, Beth, if you're listening, we have been working with the state police. Actually, I was out on the lake yesterday with the sheriff's department about enforcement issues. And so the state has just given Morris County Sheriff one of their boats that was at the state park that was not being used. They're in the process of putting that back on duty. The jet skis are a problem all over the place. The state police are watching that also. Unfortunately, we don't have enough state police. That's why we're asking the sheriff to be more involved. We've been working very closely with them. I actually have authorized some of the Hopatcong detectives to work on issues, some of which is undercover, to resolve issues on the lake, whose water, on the water of the lake, we have no jurisdiction. So what we do is we work with the state police on shore. The water of the Lake Hopatcong or the state of New Jersey. I don't know that they take that as seriously as we do. I'd like to believe that they do, but some of the stuff they do doesn't show that. But we're going to work with them as best we can. We share the quality of life on the lake is important, especially for lakefront owners who have a rather large investment in most of their home. We understand that. We will keep working to make it better. I will address the owner of the Arrow Crest. He can tell me to go take a hike, but I will speak to him about the issue and the problems that he may or may not be contributing to. I will keep you posted on that. If you send me an email, I'll let you know what my progress is or is not with that issue. But it's a serious issue to the borough also. Not only the activity on the lake, but the quality of our water. And so I'll speak to that issue later.
Thank you.
Ron, if you can, the amount of, I don't know how many bids we had on the sewer extension. We had a couple that I remember, but I don't remember them all. But it was an open bid proposal process. And we did advertise, and we advertised when we were opening them. So everything was.
Yeah, Mayor, I can provide the total listing for that tomorrow. There were several bidders on it.
Okay.
But I'll have to get, I don't have it in front of me, and
Yeah.
I don't know the total, but there were several bidders on it. I can provide that information
But
tomorrow.
for the information, anybody wondering about the process, our qualified purchasing agent make sure that we abide by all state laws. When something is over a certain threshold, we send out a request for proposals, we ask for bids, and then we manage accordingly as per state statutes. Thank you, Steve, for your comments on the dog park. I kind of like it too. Hopefully there'll be recycle pickup, Dave. I think they work in the rain, I'm pretty sure. If there's a problem, let me know. Internet service is an issue. Go on the website for Planet Networks, fill out their survey, and tell them how badly we need good internet service in our town. Until then, we have to put up with the only game in town, which is Optimum. I've asked Planet to come in. They're all around us. Hopefully it'll be soon. And when they do come in, I would encourage all of our residents to support them. It's a local outfit. I think they're up in the Newton area. It's a nice little company, and they provide a very affordable and good service because it's fiber optics, which is much more dependable than the conventional hard copper wire. So go on the Google Global Networks and tell them how much you would like them to come into town. As far as Hudson Farms, I don't know the answer to that, but he's very generous anyhow. But this COVID has turned everything upside down. So I hope I helped everybody understand a little bit on their questions. Now we'll go to approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes of 8/4/2021 meeting minutes.
Mayor, if you be so kind, I'd like to make a motion to approve both minutes from August 4th.
Can we do that, John?
We can do that, sure.
Pardon me?
We can do that.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Abstain.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Approval of bills, resolution 2021-117.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone need anything removed or discussed?
I would like 4 removed. 21-0-1230, 21-0-1231, 21-0-1232, and 21-0-1264.
Okay. Anyone else? Not hearing any, Mayor, I will move the bill list, not including items 21-0-1230, 21-0-1231, 21-0-1232, and 21-0-1264.
I'll second that.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
This is accept those 4?
correct.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes. Mayor, at this time, I will move bills on the bill list 21-0-1230, 21-0-1231, 21-0-1232, and 21-0-1264.
So move it. Second?
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Abstain.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
We're at ordinances, introduction, ordinance 25, 2021.
Mayor, we have the consent agenda.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not on my
I'm
agenda.
sorry.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll move it.
Second?
Call the
I don't
roll,
have a,
please.
I don't have a consent agenda on my, do I?
It's in the back.
It's in the back.
It's in the back, but it's not, it wasn't on my list.
It's the permits, right?
There's permits, there's 2 resolutions, and there's 2 reports, I think.
Is it the, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
Blue light, it's the blue light permits.
And which resolutions?
It was in the package.
Oh,
just
the mitigation plan and the hunting season. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's right. I had a blank on that too.
Well, yeah, it's not on here.
It's the internet.
Yeah. Do I have a motion on that?
Yeah, we have a motion
Yes,
and
we
a
do. In
second.
a second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Oh, there it
Now,
is.
we're at ordinances introduction, ordinance 25, 2021. Capital funding for water utility improvements, capital ordinance providing for various water utility improvements by and in the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, and appropriating $742,414.06 therefore from grant proceeds received pursuant to the Federal American Rescue Plan to pay for the costs thereof.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Final hearing. Ordinance 23, 2021, vacating a portion of Hopatcong Street right away. Ordinance partially vacating a portion of Hopatcong Street right away for Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey.
So
Final
moved.
hearing. Do I have a motion?
So move it.
I'll second it.
And I'll open it to the public, right?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Open to the public for questions or comments.
I have one, Michael, Cliff, you're up.
Good evening, ladies and members of the council. Cliff London here. I would like to speak in opposition to the ordinance. For those of you who don't know the history of Northwood, we recently had a dinner meeting of the Historic Society last week citing 100 years of Northwood. Northwood was set aside by subdivision in 1915. At that point, it was actually part of Byram. Northwood is older than Hopatcong. And as part of that plan, the founders of the borough recognized that not everybody could own lakefront, and that people did live off the lake and needed access to the lake. And lots of people, and there are approximately 40 or so rights of way in this borough where non-lakefront owners could in fact access Lake Hopatcong.
Hey, Jennifer.
What you're doing in this what you're doing in this ordinance is you are basically vacating the right of the public to get down to the lake, to get down to that post office, and to get down to that community dock. It used to have on the front page of our internet site, the town on the lake. Well, I don't undersee how you can cut off access to people who don't live on the lake by giving it away, by vacating their interest. It then becomes the property of either side, the owners on either side, which in this case is the owners of Lola's Restaurant. There's a dock there. Yes, it needs work. There's no question about it that it needs work. But that dock actually could serve as access to the post office for residents of Raccoon Island that don't have a post office and have to get mail. There was a boat launch there. that in the non-summer season, I'm not advocating launching one's boats in the middle of a weekend or in the middle of a business, but many members of this community use that boat launch to launch their boats early in the season and to take them out late in the season. That right-of-way has coexisted with the residents of Northwood for over 100 years. There have been businesses that have thrived there before, and that right-of-way has survived. And that right-of-way has serviced the people of Northwood. I would really urge you to reconsider and not vacate the right-of-way of Hopatcong Street that allows residents to get down to the lake and allows residents to stand there and fish, allows people to pick up their mail, allows people to launch their boats. You have a very active community up in Northwood. I'm not part of that. I live a mile away. But in fact, that dock has always been an asset for the community. And by vacating this, you're eliminating some non-lakefront people's access to the lake. Thank you.
More comments? Hearing none?
I don't see any, Mayor.
Move to bring it back.
Can't.
What is going on?
Oh, here we go. Okay. Looks like we got one more, Mayor.
Okay.
Don and Judy, is that you?
Yeah, hi. I've been told by somebody who can't get on Zoom that it's going to cost $1,500 to fix the dock.
I don't think there's any estimates yet or anything, Judy.
Yeah,
No.
we have an estimate.
Oh, you have an estimate. Okay.
Yeah, we privately have an estimate. It's going to cost $1,500.
Jim Byram.
Jim Byram got the estimate.
I need a last name, please.
Wolf, W-O-L, F as in Frank, F as in Frank.
Thank you.
Wait. Try raising my hand again.
And Judy, finish your comment, please. Are you for this or against this?
I'm against vacating it.
Okay.
Been fishing there with our kids for many years.
That's Don Wolf. He just said we've been fishing there many years with our children. Swimming off the dock and everything. Don't want to vacate it. Thank you, Mr. Schindler.
More
I don't know
comments or
this answer,
questions?
Judy, but do you guys, or up in the area, do you guys have deeded rights to it at all? Judy, can you unmute?
I've got her. I'm asking her to unmute now. I thought she was done.
I believe we do have deeded rights. Purchased it, that was part of it.
Okay.
John Harrison?
Yes,
Mayor.
Up for another month.
Can we push this off for another month?
Hold on, Judy.
Okay.
On the issue of deeded rights, I know in our ordinance, we allow an easement to access the lake. But
So-
I'm not aware of any deeded rights on it, back on street or the dock.
Mayor, do you want to finish public comment first, and then we could discuss this, or you want me to answer now?
You can answer them.
Yeah. So, Mayor, if someone has deeded rights, the act of the municipality vacating its right of way does not affect those deeded rights. Deeded rights are recorded in the county. We have no control over them. We could not vacate them even if we wanted to. So if somebody has deeded rights to access that area or have a dock there or maintain a dock, any of those things, the action that is before the council would not affect that.
And that includes ingress and egress, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I just want to be clear on that.
Can we table this for one more month so we can research and pull out our deeds? Is that possible?
Yeah, that's up to the council. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to point out though that whether or not people have individual deeded rights really has nothing to do with the action before the council. If they have those rights, then they will continue to have the rights if that road is vacated. Exactly the same.
Well, I'd like the council to consider just turning the dock over to the Northwood Association.
I believe he said he'd like the dock to be turned over to the association. Is that
Yeah.
correct, Mayor?
That's what I said.
Yeah, Don and I agree with that.
All right, so Mike, why don't we see if there's any other public and then bring it back and let's
Okay.
discuss this.
Any other public?
We do. Amara, you're up.
Mr. Urson said it doesn't affect people with deeded rights. Does it affect the people who are just, going to get their mail or fishing there? Will they still have access? That's it.
Yeah. The answer is yes. More questions?
Patty Arendis, you're back up again. I don't know if we've tried a couple of times here. If you want to unmute.
That's, you're having technical problems there.
I don't know I wish we could get her in. She's been trying to get in twice.
But Patty, if you can hear me, call me. I'll be more than happy to help you with any concerns you have.
Excuse me, I have her on the phone. Can I put her on speaker and go over our Zoom? Would that be allowed?
Who has her on the phone?
Would that be allowed?
Who is this speaking?
This is Judy, I'm sorry. This is Judy Wolf. I have Patty Andreas on the phone with me. If I put her on speaker, can she talk? Is that all right?
Yeah, okay.
I don't see a problem.
No.
Great. Hi, this is Patty Arendis from 28 Isabel Avenue. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So sorry, I'm having technical difficulties and I can't join the meeting.
Yeah, so are we.
We've been working hard and we've been doing a lot of talk about Copacon Street closing as well as the dock and the street. Jim Byram looked into cost of repairs of the dock and it came to $1,500, and that's having AAA dock come in and replace the poles and for Jim to go down and replace the wood and the nails. From what we understand, the dock is not unsafe. But our biggest problem is we're very concerned about the fire lane. If we close that down, we're not going to have as much control over the parking down there. And we're worried because we've had fires on this hill before. So we would like definitely to know why we're closing down the fire lane and what it's costing the town to keep it open. Our other concern is the post office. We need to be able to get down there and get our mail, and we're very concerned about that as well. So we've looked into costs, we've put together a petition, and we're looking into the historic societies. So we're hoping that no decisions are made tonight, unless it's in our favor, of course. But other than that, we would definitely like to present our case in a better way than this. And that's why.
That's at the pleasure of the council.
Okay, Patty, you have nothing else, right? Is there anyone else?
No, but thank you for listening.
Yes.
All right, what say you?
Mayor, I don't see any other reactions on the screens.
All right, entertain a motion to close the comments.
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What's your pleasure?
I have a question for our attorney. If we grant control of the dock to the association that's been spoke of, does that relieve the town from any liability from that dock? Or any and all, actually, I should say.
Sure. I think one of the issues here is that it has generally been the policy of the council to try and divest itself of public docks. Public docks are inherently a municipal problem. They create liability. They're difficult to regulate. You the maintenance costs, etc. So, yeah, who's ever got that noise has to mute.
All right, let me find it, John. I'll find it.
I don't know what noise.
I don't know why, but it's coming from you. Once you turn it off.
Yeah,
it's
let me
gone.
see. Everybody stop talking. I'll find it. It'll come up on my screen.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So look, the even in the introduction of the meeting, in the introduction of this ordinance at the last meeting, you know, when folks stayed after the meeting from Northwood, you know, I specifically brought up this idea that if the Northwood Association wanted to come forward and work on taking possession of the dock, you know, I think the borough would certainly see where that would go. And you know, the 3 or 4 people that were standing there said there was no chance of that, and that had been discussed before, and it wasn't going to happen. So, you know, and regardless, if the municipality vacates the road, the association can still talk to the property owner and work on that. I don't see why that wouldn't at least be considered. But you know, this has been discussed before. It was introduced at the last meeting, and there certainly hasn't been anything from the association indicating that, you know, they were in a position to take possession or control of the dock.
I have some additional questions as well about this. I actually took a drive down there on Monday to look at it. And in the ordinance, it says that the fire lane is not just Hopatcong Street, but it's vacating from Hopatcong Street, which is block 70111 lot 1, which is Hopatcong Street, all the way down to block 70220 lot 34 and 35. So if you look at the map on here, that's in the ordinance, if you're going all the way, so it's the 2 lots next to it are 34 and 30. No. Is that right? 34 and 35 are in lot 70220? Okay, right. So that's not my concern. Okay. My questions were, will Hopatcong Street remain a no parking zone? That yellow fire lane that's striped all the way down from Lakeside Ave all the way down to the dock, will that remain yellow painted, that it says fire lane on it? Will that remain a no parking zone? Will Lola's then take ownership of the dock, or will it remain, it's the Northwood Fire Department's dock, is it not? Is that an accurate statement, or does it belong to the Northwood Association? The dock belongs to the borough.
The dock belongs to the borough.
But it's maintained by who?
I don't know.
Oh,
well, the borough has paid for all the wood, and they've been volunteers that.
Right. So Jim Byron went down there. Right. And I don't know if anybody, again, I don't know if anybody's been down there. He replaced the entirety of all of the wood on the top of the dock. There's like one little saggy edge, but all of the wood has been replaced. And those are my, what?
The borough bought the wood.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. So those are my 2 concerns, is that if it vacates to Lola's, that street, and they park cars on that strip going up or down, there is no way that a fire truck is going to get in or out of there at all. So will that remain a no parking zone? And then who takes ownership of the dock is my other question. Those are my only two questions about this, because
The easement says we have to be able to get a fire truck down there. That's what the easement says.
But that doesn't mean it has to remain.
The dock is not part of Hopatcong Street, so we can treat the dock separately.
Okay, so, but that doesn't answer my question if it remains a no parking zone. Because I know Lola's is having a lot of issues with parking. So if that becomes a parking zone, you're never going to be able to get anything up or down that road.
Well, I don't know. Once we vacate it, the only one that could make it no parking is the owner.
Yeah. So the answer is it would not continue to be a municipal no parking zone. The property owner would have to maintain it in such a way that there's ingress and egress for the fire department, because that's the reserved easement, which only makes sense because they couldn't park across their own access to their property, right? So there's a unity of interests that the business, being the restaurant and the post office and whatever residences are there, they certainly need ingress and egress, and under the terms of the easement, they'll be required to maintain ingress and egress opportunity for a fire truck.
Okay, so then what is the point? Why are we vacating this to Lola's?
So that's up to the council to decide.
Why?
I can tell you.
Why are we vacating it? What's the reasoning behind the vacation?
So we don't have to maintain it.
I would say that the discussion so far, there's probably three separate reasons. Before the land use board, for at least 10 years, there's been a major problem that the street bisects the restaurant and its septic system. So there was a point where both those properties got foreclosed on, and the septic system and the restaurant ended up in separate ownership. That obviously got corrected, and here we are. But as we are right now, you have a street that runs between the restaurant and the septic system. The second thing is this right-of-way is much more characteristically a part of a business's parking lot than it is a municipal road. If you came there and you looked at it, no one would think this is a municipal road. They would think this is the ingress and egress to a business's parking lot. So I think that's part of it. I think the vacating the road allows the business to probably do, or at least consider, a pretty major restructuring of its parking, because I think that's been a need and that's been discussed before the council. And the final thing is the liability of the municipality owning a dock that it doesn't regulate, that falls into disrepair and is very difficult to regulate. So those are the reasons for the council to consider.
So it wouldn't just be easier for us to grant them an easement to access their septic than to vacate the entire street?
They can access their septic because the only thing that goes under the road are pipes.
Okay.
John, can I ask a question?
Of course.
John, could we, as a council, suggest that maybe we slice off the dock and sell it to the association for the whopping sum of $1 and they take ownership?
I'd be cool with that.
Not the way you describe.
Okay.
But there's a way to do it.
We could legally do it.
But Brad, the only thing that I would say is this is the second reading of an ordinance. This has been percolating for some time. You know, the association is not before you ready to take ownership. So if you wanted to pursue that further, you could. There's certainly a way it could be done.
Okay.
My question from earlier never really quite got answered. If in fact we move forward with that, and the association takes control of the dock and responsibility for the dock, does that alleviate the borough from any and all liability regarding the dock?
It has to, because I want to turn ownership over to them.
Yeah, the answer, John, is if you vacate the road, then you're out of the dock business.
Correct.
At the end of Hopatcong Street. If you, but that wouldn't get the dock to the association. You know, I don't know who the representatives were at the last meeting, but, you know, I don't know who was standing there with me, but I specifically brought this up, and I was told pretty conclusively that the association is not able to take ownership of the dock. So, but if you were able to transfer ownership of the dock to the association, that certainly relieves the municipal liability. If you vacate it and it goes to the Lola's property owner, that accomplishes the same thing.
Thank you.
More discussion?
Well,
If I may.
actually, I have
Can I
one question. And should we, I guess, give the association or whatever, one more chance to come forward? And then if not, then we say, screw it, we're gonna go ahead and vacate. I mean, I hate to delay this and all that, but you know, you had two people on here who were looking that they would be forward for it, even though last meeting they were saying that not these people, but other people in the association were saying they weren't going to do it. So, which is usually a typical thing with association that isn't very strong. So, I don't want to get down a rabbit hole here either, but I think it seems like the going direction would be to let the association have the stock somehow. But we want to get rid of our liability.
So Rich, of course, that's your prerogative. But again, you're here at second reading. There's no representative of the association here. There's been no collective request from the association. So you know, you can put that in perspective. But I understand. I understand the thought process.
Can I,
Rich, I'd be okay with waiting till the next meeting, but not beyond that.
I would like an opportunity to talk to more people from Northwood and find out what they would like us to do with it, because I'm getting conflicting reports from a lot of different people. I've spoken to several of our constituents, and I'm getting different stories from different places. What I would like to do is I would like to make a motion to table this to the October 6th meeting. That's 1 month.
I second that, Ryan.
Now, since this is the second reading, can we postpone it that long?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll withdraw my motion.
You don't need to. The table motion gets voted on first.
Yeah, as a matter of information, the fire department had no issue with us vacating that street. As long as we had the issue that they had access to the lake, which Lola would have to manage to make sure there was an open lane, the width of a fire truck to back down and pump water if they had to. That's the bottom line. And so the fire department didn't have a big issue with that at all. But I'm interested in the welfare of the Northwood community and their ability to use the dock. They say they use all the time. I'm okay with that, them saying it, but not by my observation. But if there's a way to meet them needs of that, that's okay. But do it just because we always do it doesn't work for me. We have to make sure we do the right thing for the right reason with the right people. So I believe we're correct with this. Motion made.
Mayor, do we have the name of the president of the association? We can reach out.
I don't.
Anybody in the audience?
Well, let's put it this way, Bradley.
okay.
Judy and Don.
Ber-
Go ahead.
Bernie is the president.
And I think he's on. Hold on. He was.
Okay. Get the word, Judy, contact the association and tell them to talk to us.
Mike?
Right, Judy. Oh, there.
Bernie, go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I am the president of Northwood Community Association, and I'm also a member of the fire department. The problem, they're talking about $1,500 to repair the dock. I'm not sure what the liability insurance is going to be for the dock by the association. Right now, we have not that many members, and our savings or our funds are limited. So I would like to find out what it would cost us, if anything, for liability insurance before that decision is made.
No, that's part of the association decisions. So we have a motion. Do we have a motion in a second?
We have a motion and a second for the ordinance, but we also have a motion and a second to table the ordinance until the first meeting in October.
Yeah, the table motion gets voted on first.
On the table, motion and second. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler.
I just want to be clear with everyone that this is a table and I'm voting yes for it, but please, association, have your decision made before that next meeting so we can move forward with this. Thank you.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Ordinance is tabled till the next meeting. Now
What
we'll go
was the
to,
date? October what?
I don't have a calendar in front of me, so.
The first Wednesday in October.
I made the motion to table it to the October 6th meeting, which is the first meeting in the 6th.
There you go. Okay.
okay. So that's when it's tabled till. Now we move on to ordinance. This is the final hearing also. Ordinance 24, 2021, capital ordinance for funding of improvements to Firehouse 3, capital ordinance providing for various building improvements on Firehouse number 3 in the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $80,000 therefore from the general capital fund balance to pay for the cost thereof.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none.
I don't see any, Mayor.
All right, call the roll.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
With the resolutions now, resolution 2021-119, refund for a tax overpayment and cancel future property tax for a 100% disabled veteran.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-120, establishment of a police committee.
So moved.
So second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-121, award of the PFAS remediation system.
So moved.
So move it.
Second.
Second. We were
Call the
second.
roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-123, authorizing additional hours for the violations clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Oh, abstain.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes,
Mr. Young.
sorry. Yes, sorry.
Resolution 2021-124, creating responsibilities and compensation for a recreational aid.
Can we discuss this? Or do you want to make a motion to introduce it
Make
first?
a motion and second, then we'll discuss it.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion?
I have some questions. I want to know why this is coming now. The budget has already been done for the year. Shouldn't this request come during budget season? For an extra $4 an hour, I want to know what additional recreation events the borough will get to justify a new position and a 33.3% raise. The ultimate burden of this comes on the taxpayer, and if no new events are planned, then that existed pre-pandemic. Okay. I know parents lost the summer rec camp 2 summers in a row. The school did it last year. Are we going to be backfilling the secretary position that's there now? And it seems to me that there is, I don't go to the recreation meetings, and maybe I'm a little off base, but those 5 bills that I abstained from totaled a little over $5,000. Okay. With this new position and this raise, it's $11,779.70 to the taxpayer, or what's in the budget. So to me, what I see there is possibly a little bit of excess in the municipal budget that I feel can be used for capital improvements. For instance, Noritacong Field, Jefferson Field, Vets Field could probably use some love. I know the fencing at Noritacong Field, a lot of it has been done. Some of it's been done, but there's more of it that needs to get done. I know that Jefferson still has that piece of something hanging. The whole fencing needs to be done on the side. So I know that there's no basketball court there. I don't know what the plan is for when we took down the basketball nets, but I just feel like $11,000 could be used or in a different way for capital projects, for capital improvements for the recreation department. And that's all I have to say.
Capital and OE are 2 different things. Ron, could you go over the process?
Say that again, Mayor, I didn't hear you.
Go over the process for the recreational aid.
What happens, it's not, unfortunately, people working out of title doesn't necessarily line up with the budget. And if people are in a position and they feel that they're working out of title, they can request a desk audit. That desk audit is, and they indicate the position, we indicated the position that they would be working in, that they think they're working out of title of, then we align those duties, whether or not they're meeting or not, to that classification. So in this point, the employee was working, this person actually took over all the secretary duties and the duties that align to the recreational aid position. So it's a lot of duties that have been combined into one position that more aligned to a recreational aid because of the processes that they do there. Everything is somewhat related to recreation, whether it's senior activities, school activities, those types of things, and also continuing to be a food service worker. So that being said, the employee meets that classification and then some. So that's why that is on the agenda tonight, because the classification is more appropriate for that employee. And now, no, there is no intention to replace the secretary. That person has left, and this person is now the recreational aid has absorbed those duties.
Okay, but do you remember last year when we went from 45 hours a week to 32 and a half hours a week?
Yep.
We had 2 part-time secretaries doing 45 hours a week. Yep. And now we have one that to me, there's no other industry in the world that gives a 33.3% raise. That's humongous. That's humongous. It's a huge, huge raise.
That's a percentage gain, but the actual dollars.
It's $4. I understand it's $4 an hour, but it's still 33. It's a third of her salary in a raise.
if you buy something for a dime and someone charges you 20 cents, that's 100% increase, but it's still.
I understand percentages.
Well,
It's still
we have to make sure
33.3%.
we frame it that way, and you don't give the impression we're paying somebody $10 million to do menial work. So I just be careful with the percentages.
Okay, that's all I have to say.
John Urson, can you just give us a very brief summary on the legalities of a desk audit and the importance of abiding by that in a civil service position?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. Here, come here. It's pretty straightforward. You have no choice. If somebody requests a desk audit and civil service gives them a determination, you have to follow it. You're a civil service town. You answer to the Civil Service Commission.
Right.
Ron, if you think I'm oversimplifying that, Ron is as versed in civil service as I am.
But civil service doesn't request the desk audit. The employee or the supervisor requests the desk audit, correct?
That's correct. And the supervisor approved the duties and authorized the duties and continue to do the duties. There's a whole bunch of options when it comes to desk audits. More times than not, the employee that is looking for the desk audit has been working out a title long before they request it. Now, the borough has the option to say, okay, we're not going to authorize that desk audit. We're going to remove all the duties. Well, that's not a good option here because all the functions that this employees do, they have nowhere to go. They are only 2 people in that office and they have to perform those duties. So when you have positions like this, and we are fairly lean when it comes to titles in the borough, you have people doing multiple duties, and now that title best represents what she's doing.
So in essence, because the desk audit was requested. Okay.
Well, I have set the process up, Jennifer, that anybody.
What additional services is the borough? Are we going to go back to pre-pandemic recreational services?
As soon as absolutely. As soon as they relieve the ability for us to do that, absolutely. We're chomping at the bit to turn over particularly the senior luncheons and everything that goes on within that building. Right now, we're under county restrictions that are far beyond any of the national CDC requirements. But we're chomping at the bit to start up all the processes that were in that senior center. We're ready.
Okay. Yeah, and what about rec camp that we haven't had for 2 years?
All of it. It's all been restricted to COVID. So once this COVID Delta virus stuff comes up and the county allows us and everybody allows us to have functions there, we are very prepared to do that.
And aren't Kathy and Ms. Reardon, aren't they doing the lunches every day? Like they're doing the work. They're there working.
Yeah.
Every day.
But that falls under the county congregate. That part, serving lunches for the senior center, falls under the county congregate. It doesn't fall under the borough.
Not one county employee comes down there and helps them prepare the food or serve it.
I'm not saying that they do. I'm saying that falls under the county congregate. What I'm saying is recreation, which is what there hasn't been. The school had a camp this summer. Okay. They had a camp from 7 in the morning until 6 at night. So the COVID restrictions, for camps, Mount Olive had a camp, Roxbury had a camp, Rockaway had a camp. There were no COVID restrictions that we couldn't have a recreation camp this past summer.
That was a decision of the Recreation Commission.
I would like to make a point of reference here. The county lunch program has never been under the auspices of the Recreation Commission.
Right.
Right.
It's a combined effort.
But it should be.
That's right.
The sad reality is that all of it falls underneath the building. And that's the sad reality of it. We have a lot of recreation activities that has been influenced by COVID, particularly when it came to kids. Lord knows we're compassionate to that. We also have the senior service functions that go there, including lunches, bingo, bocce ball, the foot clinic, all those other things. Those things are all under the same umbrella as we call it, well, it comes under the Recreation Committee or the Commission or not, it's all under the same building and the same people are conducting and doing the business of doing that. That's the issue here. We're one-stop shop when it comes to recreation, whether you're 80 years old or you're 10 years old.
Just doing the work.
Yeah, all right.
And part of the thing, I'd like to make a comment. Jen, you bring up, you know, the bills and stuff, and please be careful with that. Because I'll tell you, you know, the bills that you picked out were for Halloween, 3 of them.
I know what they were for. I read the bills list. I know what they were for.
Oh, I'm not, just let me speak. You know, Halloween and one for Christmas. And, you know, you're saying, well, geez, that stuff should be put into capital. Well, you know, if you have an issue with those bills or their budget of what they're spending it on, because I'll tell you something, I see those Halloween kids and they are having so much fun getting the little bags and getting the candies and going around and stuff. I wouldn't go for canceling it. My God, that's crazy. And
Did I say cancel it?
Jen, hold on. And if you're interested in doing more capital for the fields, then that's a whole different thing. Bring that up in the budgetary and let's talk about that for capital. Because this is, you know, this is not capital. Okay?
Tony.
I'm not talking about canceling Christmas and Halloween for the kids. I have 2 young children that go to those events. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that spending $5,000 seems a little bit excessive. That's what I'm saying.
Well, then, if you don't want to spend that, you want to cut some of it. That's all. So let's move on.
We have a motion and a second.
We do.
Call roll.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
No.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Since we have no option because of the audit, I'm going to vote yes.
Okay. So move. Old business? New business? Mayor's comments. Thank you, Don. The community center, I was down there actually talking to Hope and Serenity House and also the county people, but Hope and Serenity, I spent some time with them. And while I was doing that, someone I know came and actually was nice enough to take a picture of us all. And then conversation went to Narcan training. And this woman actually was prescribed a medicine. And with that medicine, the doctor gave her a Narcan because the medicine was a narcotic. And he says, if you think you get in trouble with this medicine, take the Narcan, which was really stupid to me because if she was in distress, you can't administer Narcan to yourself very easily. So she actually came back and did Narcan training with her daughter and husband so that they know if she gets in distress because of this medication, she can now, maybe it could possibly save her life. The point is that the work that we're doing down there now with Hope and Serenity and the Center for Prevention is priceless, absolutely priceless. And not the least of which is helping people with babies or other people in need. But I have to tell you, if you get a chance, either on a Wednesday or a Thursday, go down there and get the Narcan training. It could save your life or someone in your families. Because as I understand it, the real evil thing going on is this junk they put in with the heroin that's so deadly.
Fentanyl, Mike.
Yeah, the fentanyl. From what I'm told, you could buy 10 bags of heroin with fentanyl, you'll be fine. When you buy the 11th bag, because they don't measure it, they go do it by sight. And when you take it, you're dead. With the fentanyl, you just stop breathing and you're dead. Simple as that. And so I would urge the council and your family. I took my grandkids down. I dragged them down there a little reluctantly, but actually they enjoyed it at the end. Critically important is education, education, and education. That's how we're going to address the drug issue that we have in our community and surrounding community. Surrounding community might not say they have a drug problem. We do, but we're doing something about it. And I think it's something good. It's as simple as letting people know how to use Narcan. So please go if you get the chance. The lake, the DEP, I still haven't had an answer on the product I proposed that would help remedy algae blooms. I was on the phone with them today, and they're still trying to figure out how to regulate something that's not regulated. So the product I propose has no chemicals in it. It's 3 different kinds of clay. You spray it on the algae bloom and it encapsulates it. It sinks to the bottom and stores. It doesn't kill it. So it's not an algicide. So our friends in Trenton are trying to figure out how they could or should regulate it. And they admit that it's not a regulatory item, but we're working on that. The dog park is a simple joy. I don't have a dog, but I go up there and talk to people and have fun with them and their dogs. It's really something that I didn't expect it would be as really nice as it is. We're still working on a water issue that we've answered over 300 phone calls, and no one asked about it. And I'm surprised, but the answer is that nothing in our water has changed in the past few years, 20 or 30 anyhow, as we know it. What changed was numbers. The federal standard still today is 70 parts per trillion. That's like 70 grains of sand in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, just to give you a sense of size and concentration. The state's level was 40 parts per trillion for quite a while. So wanting to pretend that we're like California, I believe, the state lowered it to 14 like California did. There's about 4 states that have that low level. There's 35 states that don't care to regulate it, and most of the other states go by the federal 70 parts per trillion. I read the federal report and how they got to that number. It's a conservative number. And I tell people, if you have a carbon filter in your refrigerator and it's an NFS rated carbon filter, it's going to remove a goodly portion of the PFAS, at least at the level we're measuring 15 to 25 in our water. And so it's not 100 or what. And by the way, the lake itself measures 7.4. So, this nonsense of our water is poison, the stupid letter that the DEP made us send. In a sense, they never permitted us to give the proper background with a letter. They crafted a letter and we had to send it. And so I understand that. I didn't agree with it. We should have gave people a better case study of the whole issue. But this carbon filtration is very important. And I was on the phone with the governor's office. I was supposed to be on the phone with the commissioner himself. The commissioner of DEP currently has COVID. So I spoke to his second in command, her name was Patricia or something or other, and also our representative for the DEP. So they're making us do this, and we get a message from them. And by the way, give us a $10,000 permit fee to do something that we probably didn't really have to do, but we have to do because of the state. So you have to do this. And by the way, pay us $10,000 because you're doing what we're forcing you to do. And so I've asked for that to be waived. It's going up the ladder. It's in the commissioner's hands. And so we get a phone call today from some lower level bureaucrat in Trenton. And he said, if you don't give me the $10,000, we're going to call your application for the permission to do this incomplete. And then you're going to have to start all over again. I did not respond kindly to that because that tells me the state could care less about our quality of our water, and the state could care more about putting $10,000 in their pocket. That's the truth as I know it. And it just makes me really, I don't want to use bad words and I won't, but it almost makes you want to use bad words dealing with this bureaucratic red tape nonsense. And so my question to them is, if you care about our water, complete the approval process for our permit to do this. We're ordering the material, and then we can duke it out about the waiver when you make the final decision. If the government's final decision is pay, we're going to pay it. But for heaven's sakes, don't blackmail me, which is what the DEP is famous for doing. And do not deal with them privately. They will take your house, they will take your children, they will take your money, and they won't even smile about it. They're serious about it. So it's very concerning to me. But I'm going to keep working on it, and I'm pretty determined to convince them to do the right thing for us. The COVID, please be careful. Please be careful. I'm not going to tell you what to do. In the month of June, we had 5 cases. In the month of July, we had 70. As of August 24th, we have 73. So the month of August to date, there's your percentages again. 10 times more in August than we had in July. That's our little town of Hopatcong. Please, please be careful. If you're inside, and that's why we're having this meeting. The last council meeting we have, I was really out of my comfort zone because of the amount of people we had in the room, and we don't know who they were, or what they had. Until we can get a handle on that, we're going to keep our distance, if you will. Outside is fine. Inside seems to be problematic. We had one DPW person test positive. I think the rest are okay. But when it starts hitting us close to home, it's very concerning. Just very, very, very concerning. And so we're going to have to make some decisions on how we protect our employees and make it a safe workplace. I don't know what that'll be yet. Maybe it'll be more testing, probably. But we have to assure a safe workplace. And however that's done, I'm seeking the counsel from our legal people, court presidents, and also the county board of health, and also this state board of health. So I want to try to do the right thing. Soon we'll be able to make a decision. I'll do it with the governing body, but I have to tell you, this COVID Delta stuff is some serious stuff. Please be careful. That being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Stay safe, please.
Night.
Good
See
night.
ya.
Everybody,
Good
thank
night.
you.